if you understand the right skill set, you will have that too. You will have that kind of powerful, uplifting, inspiring relationship, which in the end, that's the reason why people are going bonkers and doing all this stuff to try to get that kind of relationship that God has blessed us with. It's just that so many times we've been so pathetic at having fun in our blessing, at understanding God enjoys seeing us have fun with each other. And it's become just this religious exercise of, yes, I'm blessed, and yes, I'm doing my job, and yes, I'm doing my fun. That's fine, good, all right. But are you having fun at doing your relationship, at your job? Think about your daddy or your tell you to do something, and one child is bitching and moaning and complaining about every little thing every single second. They're doing it, but they're crying and moaning every second and cussing at their dad or them, whatever, their parents. And there's another child that does it happily, singing along, singing a tune while he's doing it. And I'm not saying, you got to be careful that parents don't exploit that kind of goodness if you have a child that does that. You don't want to exhaust that and just continue. You want to be thankful and recognize that, obviously. But if you're a mature parent, you could see the difference, and you would be so grateful for the child that is able to gratefully help you when you need help. You would be grateful. Right? I mean, just common sense. The blessing is such an incredible blessing. But again, it becomes some kind of work, and it becomes some kind of religious duty, marriage that is. And then it loses its energy, it loses its humanity, it loses its fun, it loses its enjoyment. And so thus we're seeking other types of pleasure, which give us these dopamine highs and these adrenaline highs, when really our spouse should be our drug. We're addicted to them. And I'm not saying we're relying on them for our happiness, because in the end that has to be with God, and we don't want to make them into idol. But God gives us a spouse so that he can experience joy through our joy. So the production of joy in that marriage, the production of fun, the production of that kind of incredible positive energy brings joy to God. Not only to us, it's a double win because it gives joy to God, and it's a triple win because it gives positive energy to people around us. And it becomes a model for which young people and your children can yearn for and desire. But what do they see? They see these couples married for 20 years, 30 years, whatever, and they're just boring. They suck. They're boring. So how do you expect anybody to be inspired by that? How do you expect, if nobody's inspired by that, including yourself, then how do you expect God to be inspired by that? Boo, boo, boo. 2 thumbs down. 2 thumbs down. Ridiculous. Anyways, we had these wonderful conversations with the young people. Good group of people from the young kids from the Sanctuary Academy. Very nice. And it's wonderful. We can talk openly about sex and talk about pornos and the dangers of it, and talk about, all these studies, and talk about, of course, these very important preparations for marriage. So all these kind of things. It's really great. I mean, that's what's so wonderful. That True Father liberated the whole conversation about sexuality in his teaching about absolute sex. Because as a religious body, it's such a central tenet to our teaching. It's so liberating. I mean, you can talk about sex so easily. And that is helpful because then it demystifies sex and sexuality and its power and allure from kids who are just watching it in secret in pornos and watching it in secret in these Korean dramas. It demystifies it and makes it real because parents who are mature and have powerful relationships are able to talk about it and talk about it openly without embarrassment with their children because they have an awesome sex life. If you have an awesome sex life, you can talk about how wonderful sex is. If you have a terrible sex life, you're going to be embarrassed about talking about sex. You're going to be scared about talking about sex. You're going to be thinking that you're offending people because you have a sucky sex life. And don't blame your partner. Most of it has to do with you. You are not developing your skill set in how to romance your queen. You are not developing your skill set on how to be more of a romantic partner, fulfill the emotional needs of women, of your spouse. So that's why you're not on your A game. You're still on a C or D game. It's not because she's the one that doesn't want to have, is not always in the mood. Well, you're not, create the mood. Look at even in the animal kingdom, the males have to create the mood. The males have to, that's why they have all these feathers. They're flamboyant. They peacock feathers. Those are all males. God designed it so the males have to create the environment and the mood and draw it out. But some of you bozos are like on your D game. And you think that just because you play, computer games or video games or because you did something, your wife wants to jump and mount you every day. This ain't Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's better than Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? And if you mix it with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, even better. Right? I mean, it's just ridiculous. How do you expect a woman to be sexually excited and sexually attracted to you when you don't create the mood? I mean, even a freaking bird creates the mood. Right? Even a pig in a mud pen creates some mood. Don't be lazy. You don't think when you cook food, you got to warm up the damn food? You got to warm it up, put it in a frying pan, and warm the dang thing up. Then you can have food. What, you eat cold food all the time? Even if you eat cold food, you have to still cut the veggies up. Right? You have to do some preparation. This is not just like porn. Like, I want sex, I'm going to click a bit, and I get an orgasm right now. You know what I'm saying? This is what happened with these men who are addicted to porn. They have this totally false view and this archangelic view, and it makes them totally fail. And it destroys your sex life, let alone your spiritual life. Where's your ability to push and pull? Where's your ability to create the mood and play around and joke with your wife and make her laugh and get laughs from her and get smiles from her and, you know what I'm saying, do things that are spontaneous and surprising to her so that you get those smiles? Because every time you get that smile, you're one step closer to that love moment. You got to get those smiles from your woman. The more she smiles, the better she feels. The more positive she feels. Also, smiling releases those hormones. The more she smiles and she's surprised in those ways, and she's laughing, the more attractive you are. I mean, don't you know this is basic biology? I don't know why I got to speak this to these dumb bozos, probably because they've been raised on video games and freaking GMO food cereal. Fruit Loops, whatever they call, and honeycomb, and what's it, Cocoa Puffs. Not eating real food. Oh, my Lord have mercy. It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying, girl? You know what I'm saying, right? Isn't that ridiculous? It's ridiculous. I don't know why I got to talk about this. Like, it's so ridiculous that people don't understand this. I mean, I just see it as just like, what the hell is wrong with you people? What species are you from? Are you a freaking tadpole or like a milchi? What's a milchi? Sardine? What the hell are you? How come you don't know this stuff? And then you want to groan and moan about how bad your sex life is? Of course it is, because you suck. And of course I can go vice versa. But again, look at the animal kingdom. The males create the mood and the energy. Don't expect just to come home from work and say, well, honey, I had a hard day of work and I finished a hard day of work. And her to say, really? And then, want to wear Victoria's Secret lingerie and take her panties out and mount you. I mean, give me a freaking break. Are you crazy? You got to make some mood, fool. Lord mercy. But that's the problem. Pornos are just too easy, right? You could just see naked women for free and just a click away. Right? Korean dramas are just so easy. You can get a dopamine high and just get that romance that your husband's not doing. It's just so easy. Instead of being honest and communicating these things and being honest that you really need that sexual healing or you need that romantic healing, instead of being honest and talking to your spouse and having a relationship and actually expressing your vulnerability to one another, telling and talking to one another, you'd rather just keep that conversation away in the corner somewhere and because it's too embarrassing and you're exposing too much of yourself and you don't want to be shallow and all that. You're an idiot. Then don't complain when you have no sex life and it's pathetic. And you create negative energy when anybody around you can smell a mile away. You're like rancid flesh. You're like a rotting carcass of, meat that's walking around and saying, hey, why is everybody running away? It must be because they're racist and bigoted and they hate me. It's because you smell like shish. Do you understand? Give me a freaking break. Dang. Stupid these people are. Drive me nuts. But the reality of the matter is that dads are not talking like this to their boys. You should absolutely be talking like this to your boys. What the hell is wrong with you, dads? You should absolutely be teaching your boys how to create mood and how to do mating calls and how to fan the peacock feathers. You know what I'm saying? You should have. What the hell is wrong with you, you freaking losers? Why aren't you empowering your boys to do that? For their spouse, of course. I mean, how ridiculous is that? You have to be empowering, positioning your children for success. But you don't talk about it. You just want somebody else to do it for you. And thank God for the King's report, where the king will talk about this stuff. Because you're not doing it. And you can say, go watch that episode and listen to what the king says because he was speaking some truth that day. So that's convenient for you. And I'm happy I'm providing a service. Make sure you're supporting the channel.